Hey everybody, I'm just resharing my endometriosis story. I had it on Facebook, but Facebook somehow deleted it or deemed it inappropriate. My journey started about 4 years ago, and I just was getting into an immense amount of pain. At first I thought it was just, really bad cycles. I didn't know what exactly was going on. And it eventually started my course from going doctor to doctor to doctor. Within that 4-year span, about year 3, that's when it got really bad, and I started feeling like pains on my side. I would feel like I was going to faint. I would be at work and people would be asking me if I'm okay, and this pain would happen outside of my cycle. So about 4 years I was in a lot of pain, and being in that much pain, it can really mess with your focus, really mess with your sense of self. And I'm hoping to continue on my journey was that I was in pain for 3 to 4 years. I want to say 4 years, and probably when I was a teenager too, but it was more bearable because I just kind of would medicate up. But my pain got to the point where medication wasn't helping, and so I thought that with us having all this health care, I better go to the doctors, figure things out, and they're like, well, it might be endometriosis, but all their recommendations was just birth control. So I kept going in and out of offices. I kept transferring, advocating for myself because I felt like something wasn't right. I felt like I was to the point where none of this medication and stuff was going to happen. And usually with the diagnosis of endometriosis, it takes about 7 years to even get laparoscopy. But for me, it didn't take me as long because I kept pushing through. I kept changing practices. And it was very difficult. Dealing with all that pain, I went to my midwife group. Now, these aren't the ones that delivered me at home. I did have a home birth, but I went to a midwife group that a friend recommended. And with insurance issues, I couldn't get into the practice I wanted to, so she referred me to another OBGYN who I heard good things about. But I sat in there for 5 minutes, got charged $40 just to be told, there's nothing we could do for you. And then she wanted to do an exam, but I was on my cycle and I have just some beliefs about blood and all. I have a lot of beliefs about that. So I just told her, well, we can discuss options. And she pretty much told me, oh, well, all we can offer is birth control. We don't like to do surgery. So guess what? I walked out. I don't have patience for that. So after doing that, I went back to my midwife practice, told her I need to go to the one office that I don't care if I have to pay out of pocket. I will go. So I finally got a referral to this practice. Now, what happened was that I had already had a miscarriage last year, probably in the fall. And I know that friends and family were like, what? I didn't announce that because it's very personal. And there's a lot of people that silently suffer with miscarriages. And I get to this new practice. They're more holistic. They fit my needs more. They're into diet. They're into exercising. They're into solving the problem. And that's what type of person I am. I'm into solving the problem, not delaying or prolonging it, making the issue worse. So I finally get in there and I do all this blood work. They have me do all this insulin just to make sure if I'm insulin resistant, all of it. And with all of this blood work, it kind of just gives them an idea of where I'm at, where my hormone levels are at. But then I found out that I was pregnant again. Once finding out that I was pregnant, it was a real big shock because I didn't really feel like I was ovulating like that anyways. Oh, excuse me. I'm not editing that. So I didn't realize I was ovulating at all because it didn't really felt like I was. And then I was having really bad cysts, which I like to call chocolate cysts because that's pretty much the basic name that everybody calls them, but they're really called endometriomas. But those rupture near my cycle, and it looks like you just bleed pure chocolate. It's disgusting. But I found out that I was pregnant again, and that was a shock. So the doctor was like, well, we'll just take it easy. We won't, do any of these treatments. We'll wait until after you have the baby to start more of these treatments. And so after doing all these, I guess after the appointment, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. After the appointment, I was just I felt more relieved. That appointment made me feel reassured. And she was like really nice, and she listened, and that's all I wanted someone to do, was just listen to me. How hard is it to listen to your patients when they are essentially paying you? So I went ahead and I did that. I was pregnant, I was like, well, things are not going to happen again. I'm not going to miscarry again, because, it's rare to have 2 miscarriages in a row. Usually they, and it's really rare to have constant miscarriages in a row. So they were talking about B12 and my vitamin D3 levels being a little bit low. So she told me to continue with supplements like that. I did bring up with my miscarriage before that I had a lot of side pain, that I was told that it could be normal because of ligaments and stuff like that stretching, so I didn't worry. And I really wanted this pregnancy to be successful, even though timing was never right. But it wasn't. Then I found out everything wasn't okay. The baby had passed. They didn't find a heartbeat. Then they told me to come back if there's any kind of emergency or any kind of pain. Well, I think later on, maybe that next week, I was having a lot of pain, and they had thought it was my appendix, and then they wanted to rule out that it was a tubal pregnancy. So they got a little bit kind of crazy, but the ER kept me waiting still. So I ended up having to go back for a CT scan or MRI, one of those. Anyways, I had to go back for one of those type of tests, and when I went back for one of those tests, they found out that it was just a cyst, which was probably a chocolate cyst about to rupture again. That was causing so much pain. Now, mind you, I had called both my OB and my family doctor before having to head to the hospital, and nobody was able to reach me. Nobody got back to me until the following Monday after I already went to the ER. So, congrats to me. I have all these appointments now because nobody could get back to me. So I ended up having a meeting with my family doctor, who had recommended just birth control and antidepressants for my endometriosis. And then he was talking about, miscarrying. He was sincere as best as he could be, which, was really nice at the time of need. And then I went to my OBGYN, and she was confident that it was probably the endometriosis causing me side pain, because she said I shouldn't have had side pain again, and I shouldn't have been bleeding like that again. That's not normal. So she recommended the surgery, and to the head OB, I think he's a head OB. He owns the practice, but she recommended him for me, which was very essential in me getting this surgery. So I get a pre-consultation meeting with him for surgery, and we really discuss. I tell him, all the aspects of everything, because this is a diverse practice, at least to me. And he is he's a person of color. I don't know exactly what his ethnicity is, but I feel like it was a lot to have someone that looked like me that listened to me, just all throughout this practice, because it took so long. And being a black woman in healthcare, that a lot of black women are suffering, during birth or during anything, because they always delay our care. And that's just the disparities in healthcare, which people don't like to acknowledge, but it happens. So we talk for about an hour. He does an exam. I could barely make it through the exam. I ended up almost rolling off of the exam table because I was in so much pain. And they did the ultrasound, and he said that I have adenomyosis and endo. And the way he found out that I had endometriosis and adenomyosis was off of symptoms, and then their ultrasound team is really skilled. So that really helped, and I got everything done in the practice. My sister always says it looks like a fancy hotel room. But yeah, so they found all that out, and he said that surgery's probably better because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't belly dance. If anybody knows me, I'm a pretty active person. I like to stay busy. I love life, and I'm trying to enjoy life. So I get my scheduled surgery on July 6th. I'm nervous and everything. Pretty much everything was straightforward. I had a wash with antibiotic wash the night before. I ate my last meal, which was some Long Island iced tea and some fried chicken. Well, country fried chicken steak, which is really good. So I had my last meal, and I stumbled up there. I got too excited, but anyways, because I had my best friend there, and she really looked out and took care of me. I stayed at the hotel with her the night before surgery, and then she drove me back to the hotel and we stayed there. But surgery, I pretty much had to wash with an antibiotic wash the night before, so I got mad. I had to get back in the shower again. Couldn't put on no lotion. I was ashy. But when I got there, they had got me pre-registered, and then I met the nurse, which she was also really friendly. I really like that lady. I got to thank her one day when I actually see her. But anyway, stay on track. I made sure that I had a hospital bag packed just in case, because I didn't know how bad the endometriosis was going to be. So comfy clothes, Gas X, cough drops because your throat's going to be sore, herbal tea with ginger, lots of soup and bone broth. So I made sure I was prepared for that because I was leaving to go live with my mom for a little bit. So during that final surgery, well, not final surgery, but during the laparoscopy, the anesthesiologist made sure I had an anti-nausea pack because I'm prone to nausea. She gave me some medicine to make me all loopy, but I do remember one little clip before I finally was knocked out. Whatever they put in my veins burned. I don't know what it was, but it woke me up out of my dopiness before the endometriosis surgery began, laparoscopy. Anyway, so after that, I found out that surgery was a lot more extensive than what it was. I went in surgery at 8:30, and I didn't get to see my mom and them till about 2. So that means I was in that ice room for about an hour, and it really caused my mom to freak out about me being in surgery for so long. But turns out that I had stage 4 endometriosis, and my ovary was twisted behind my bladder. I ended up getting my surgical notes. I read some of them. I guess I'm a good clotter. I'm also sitting outside, so there's a lot of noises going on, but I'm trying to be as clear as possible. So I remember that last little bit of scene. They had to calm me down before I fully went to sleep. After surgery, like I said, I found out I had stage 4 endometriosis. They had to get through adhesions and scar tissue before they could even get to the endometriosis. I had it all over. It was in my ovaries, but they can't. He can't cut it out of my ovaries because that would be removing my ovaries. So they had to burn it off my ovaries and cut it out everywhere else. So surgery has been recovery has still been a little bit rough. My nose is itching. So it's been a little bit rough still for me. And that's really hard, that I have to take it slow and easy and take it steady. But that's pretty much my story so far. And I do have other videos of my thoughts and recovery, and I might attach some pictures to this actual video. I will be attaching probably some photos if I can figure out this video editor. But I wanted to say that I'm trying to live life to the best of my ability. I'm doing so much this semester, but I'm also managing my stress, and I'm managing the way I eat. I don't eat bread like that anymore. If I do, it's like pizza and it's a treat, but I'm mostly gluten-free, and I can feel the difference. And I'm managing my stress. I'm trying to find everything. I'm going to currently go to therapy once I find a therapist that suits me and takes my insurance. And I think that's pretty much my story right there. But I'll probably see if I can add some photos, and I do have some afterthoughts videos, and maybe I should make a video about things you should need, things you should prepare for, things people don't tell you about, because everybody's different. Everybody recovers different, and my story is definitely different. My recovery is definitely longer. It's no walk in the park.